Thank you, Ambassador, and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks to organizer for giving me this opportunity. I'd like to mainly focus on the trade and investment aspects between India and Sri Lanka. To me, it is one of the classic case where there are a lot of effort, but the fruits are definitely less than what we expected. Because if we look at the kind of engagement in terms of official discussions between India and Sri Lanka, there are, as Dr. Vignaraja mentioned in the beginning, it started quite long time back through SARC, through BIMSTEC, through India-Sri Lanka Free Trade Agreements. And every time, all the meetings, all the expectations highlighted that there is a huge potentiality, right? But till we have seen that we could not move to a new age trade agreements where actually trade and investment can be, done or flown seamlessly between the two countries. Now, having said that, we just heard that China's presence in Sri Lanka is one of India's major concern. But even before that, the India's main concern was basically both the countries are not able to move to the next level of the trade agreement or trade and investment agreement. And having said that, I'd like to highlight a couple of things. Number one is in trying to develop a post-COVID situation where, because of US-China trade war, perhaps some of the corrections in the supply chain may happen and Southeast Asian countries become more important. And similarly, there would be a renewed importance of Sri Lanka in Indian Ocean. So Sri Lanka becoming a very critical player. And interestingly, we are having very close and good, peaceful relationship with Sri Lanka. So this gives us as a confidence to think of the next level of cooperations. And I'd like to highlight that in Sri Lanka's industrialization process, which was took up a different steps after India-Sri Lanka Free Trade Agreement actually, took the pace. We found that several Indian companies started thinking of relocating to Sri Lanka for investment there and export back to India. We have seen in case of India, Bangladesh, also in case of textiles and garments, some Indian companies have set up there in Bangladesh and they are exporting. So one of the major concern about Sri Lanka is that the kind of treatment between India and Bangladesh on textiles and garments are there. Sri Lanka is not getting the similar kind of treatment. So that's basically one of the agenda where actually we can work on. Second thing, India being a much bigger player is definitely, Sri Lanka may be a strategic player, but in terms of trade volume, Sri Lanka is much small player for India. But the reverse is not true. So as we have seen from the trade data that for Sri Lanka, India is one of the major destinations of its exports, and also it is the major source of imports. So taking a clue from there, we can think of developing something in terms of a regional value chain, where actually we can think of multiple crossing the borders several times to create an industrial zone in southern India and as well as in Sri Lanka. And some of my research work also highlighted that Sri Lanka domestic value additions were actually close to 90% in 2005, but it has come down to 85% by 2018. So that means around 15% of Sri Lanka's exports, or the 15% component of Sri Lanka's exports, are actually originated from some other country. And we see that India's contributions in this case was actually increasing from 2% in 2005 to it is now has been very close to 3.5%. So out of 15%, only 3.5% is India's contribution. So definitely the contribution of other countries, and I suspect that the contribution of China has increased substantially. And that should be the area to be discussed, that to improve Sri Lanka's export basket to the rest of the world, what will be India's contributions? And and we can highlight the areas like textiles and wearing apparels, petroleum, chemical and non-metallic mineral products, metal products, electrical and machineries, transport equipment. These are the areas where actually the India and Sri Lanka can come together and think of developing a value chain where Indian companies can invest in Sri Lanka, or even Sri Lankan companies can procure the raw materials and the critical inputs from India, use them for their exports, and then they can export to rest of the world, including back to India. Because 21st century trade will be mostly in these directions. Now, taking the clue from the US-China trade war, as we know that several corrections in supply chain have started happening, and some countries in Southeast Asia like Vietnam, Indonesia, even some amount of investments are coming to Bangladesh. We also expect that India must take this opportunity and invest more in Sri Lanka, so that India Sri Lanka can be considered as a common and a unified players in the world market, at least for some products in which both the countries are having comparative advantage. So to do that, if we develop some kind of a free zones, as it happens, in many port areas in Dubai and other countries, where actually there are free investments or easy investment rules for the countries. This can be done for both sides, both India and Sri Lanka, which can actually help a lot of small players who can do the final level of assembling of components, as well as do a bit of product upgrading in near the port, and then they can export to a different countries. So in these directions, actually, if we talk, then some of the investment projects of India, which are actually stalled or slow paced, definitely is a concern. And I think both sides must, sit together once again, think in a different directions, in the sense that that the new trade regime will be completely different, and regionalism will be more important things to develop an unified strength. So if the South Asia needs to come up as one kind of a strong players together, then all the countries need to come together. And Sri Lanka is a very important critical player for India to reach to Southeast Asia, to Australia, and even in some cases to Japan and China. So, considering that as an important area to look at, that regional supply chain, how actually we can modify, how we improve the trade facilitations aspects, how we give some additional discounts in terms of clearances, checkings, licensing, as well as on non-tariff barriers, how actually we relax these few things, so that the value adds both from India and Sri Lanka for a particular product which is jointly built and exported are actually increasing. And that's all from my side. Thank you.